Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy day 5. 5 days. Yay. We made it. We made it through the 5 days of getting up every single morning. You guys, getting up isn't difficult for me, but when we have delays and all the things, I'm a mom, and so it's like we had a delay today. So it kind of messes things up. But you know what? We're here to do this. So, day 5. If you did not, you don't have the PDF yet, but you would like it, we will be using it again next week. I will be showing up a little differently next week. So let me know if you would like the PDF and I will give it to you. And the PDF is just like a checklist of what to do each day. And these are checklists. I do check these checklists every time I do a mindful morning. And what they are is that you can use them over and over. Like, you don't just use them this week, right? But you can always, because we all need direction, right? If you don't have any idea what to do in the morning, I'm just kind of giving you guys an idea of what to do. That way you have some direction, right? Good morning, Janelle. Yeah, we had a 2-hour delay. Don't know if you guys did. So that kind of makes things a little. So, okay, let's get into this. Let me go ahead and let everybody know that I'm on, and then we'll get going. And the point of these are, we're going to be doing these every other month. We might do them monthly, but just to kind of for myself, I like to use these and getting up and doing these lives every morning for 5 days, because it kind of recalibrates me to of how I start my day, right? And this week was absolutely divinely led. I needed it to be doing it this week. Didn't know that beforehand at all. I think that's part of the shock as well, because I didn't know what I was walking into on Monday morning. And and I think that's just just a reminder that we don't ever know really what we're walking into, right? Do we ever really know what we're walking into? Even though we might think that we do, we all don't, right? So we have to prepare. We have to be we have to be able to self-regulate and manage our emotions and show up anyway, right? And I'm not saying to no matter how sick we are or how sad, no, there's times we do, and we have to, especially today, Valentine's Day is a great reminder of the love. And this week, it was all about love, and that was divinely led as well. I really do a lot of intuition over tradition, or intuition over scheduled process. I'm very which is why I kind of needed this week to happen before we go into the evenings, the 7 o'clock, the 3 days next week to do the shadow work, as a way to kind of prepare instead of doing them all at the same time, because you're still going to use the checklist next week to find the information, which I printed it out for me. Did it fall out? To find the information to come back with. Yeah, it fell out somewhere. To find the information next week, right? And then you're going to come back with it in the evening, and that's what we're going to use to clear all the things, right? So today, on the final day, what we want to really focus on today is how we are taking action, how we're making our decisions. How are you deciding what direction or what thing to do, right? And the decision that you're going to have to make, at least being in this space, is going to be if you join my program or not, if you sign up to coach with me, right? To be in Relaunch Your Soul Academy. That will be your decision that you have to make. And you can make it today and be like, I want to join today. Or you can make it next week on Thursday night. You can always have this decision to make, right? I'm not always enrolling into it, but for the next 2 weeks I am, right? So how we do this, right? How do we make, first of all, really gauging right now, do you feel very indecisive when you make your decisions? Are you always going around and asking people, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I go this direction? Like, really just assess. And how do you decide if, and another thing that just came to me is like, if you feel like you're an autopilot, if you feel like you have, you're disconnected from that guidance or that love, like if you feel disconnected from that, a lot of times, if you're taking the same way to work, if you're talking to the same people, if you're, doing the same thing every single day, day in and day out, that is a very, like, and then you're just like, I don't feel anything because I'm on autopilot. Mix it up today, like go a different way to work, step outside of your normal routine, and then that will kind of start to shake things up, right? That'll start to kind of bring you back. If you feel fear around that, if you feel fear around change, fear around shift, that's fear. Fear is very constricting and tight and like, am I gonna mess up? Is this person gonna reject me? Is this, I don't know, right? That's fear. If you are, when you shift into this expansive place of love, right, by doing these practices every morning that we've been doing, right? And so really, doing the choose again method to choose your thoughts, right? Really, really watch your vibration, your emotions, your mood, whatever resonates for you, to find what it is you're making things mean. And you can use the choose again method, right? Notice it, forgive it, and then shift it. That's really just 3 steps. Notice it, forgive it, and shift it. And the reason we want to forgive it is because we don't want to make our thoughts wrong. We don't want to make us wrong about anything, because that's the shadow part, right? We're wanting to shift that. So being very self-aware of that, and then going into, the, what was it? Oh, the energetic check-in was day 2. And those are constant things you could be doing. You can constantly just be checking in. Like sometimes we don't need to shift anything. We just need to check in with how are we feeling? What are we thinking about? What are we doing? And is this going to move me closer to where I want to go or away from, right? You want to find out your current life experience so you can really know where you stand in your life. And then if you feel uneasy, right, when you're in fear, you're out of alignment. And so, and then on day 3, it was about your words. And this is about also, becoming a super attractor and really watching what you're talking about, what you're listening to, using that throat chakra of what am I listening to? What conversations am I having? Am I constantly complaining? That was this week. And I really had to shift into love of possibility and the expansiveness of this is actually, there's more to go around. If what I'm doing right now does not work out well, right? It's okay, because it's not the work we're doing, it's the people we're being as we're doing the work, right? And that's my biggest takeaway from this week for myself. I'd love to know what your biggest takeaway. I already talked to a few of you in the DMs and in text or whatever about what has been your biggest takeaway from this week and what has helped you the most. What really, really helps you. And then as far as the spiritually aligned method, which is the one we want to really stick to today, I taught on it Wednesday night. And the spiritually aligned method is taking action that's backed by inspiration. So you really feeling inspired to do this thing. Example, me going and volunteering to do meditation, or being asked and saying yes and doing it, being very, very broke and having no money. And I would just fucking scrape change to be able to have gas to go and volunteer, right? And that inspired me to do that, because when I got there, I felt, and Janelle, you're on here, I see you, you're doing that, right? That inspired action of, I know my purpose, I know the pain I've been through, and I am on the other side, and I know that I can hold space, right, for these people, and you feel it in your vibration. You are in a high vibration when you're in this space. And then joy, right? Having fun, and joy isn't just always having fun, but it's just that feeling of joy. So anybody that does not have that, if you don't feel joyful, if you're having a hard time tapping into joy, then what I suggest, we're going to go ahead, and this is in Super Attractor, all right? It is on page 150 and 151. When we tap into joy, oh, sorry, it's before that. So when we tap into joy, and this is all preparing us, right, for next week, but this spiritually aligned action method is one of the key methods that got me to where I'm at, and it will change your life. I know, because I am proof, right? It is absolutely proof. It doesn't take any shadow work. I mean, I did shadow work, not even realizing it. And by the way, I am going to pull some moon cards, by the way. So if you want a card, let me know. Hi, Stacy. I want to make sure that I got, hold on, because I do have to, very, very important meeting this morning, you guys. So I have to definitely be done here at least in like 15 minutes. I do. Okay. So joy, sorry, here we go. So joy, you really want to step into joy. Make sure, okay, so the spiritual aligned action, sorry. Make sure your desire is backed by inspiration and service. Okay. So whatever your desire that you want in your life, let's just say for me, I wanted to, I'm a coach. I was like, I'm going to be a coach. I want to be a spiritual life coach. That being backed by desire or by inspiration and service, right? Me being a coach was in service of people to help them feel better, right? And it brought me so much joy when we get out of the way. This is a big one too. When we get out of the way, and that means when we stop trying to control, when we just start to allow things to be, and we have to have faith and trust that the universe, God, our higher self, what that is for you. I do suggest you pick one, what resonates with you, your higher self, God, universe, whatever, your angels, of picking something that you say, just like maybe even your spirit team, that they know what's of the highest good of all, not just us. That's why sometimes when things don't work out, we have to, and I've had to do this, I have to step back and say, okay, not just for me, instead of poor me, oh my gosh, like poor me, the culture is changing, which even my despair and sadness this week, it has been of the highest good of all. Janelle knows that very well. It wasn't because, oh my gosh, this of what's happening, I'm going to lose this place. It was the culture, the energy, the feeling of where I have spent my days it was shifting this week, and it just broke my heart. So you can even have spiritually aligned despair, to be honest, or spiritually, yeah, it's like now that I don't know. Anyway, that's totally not in this book, but like those are my things coming through. So backed by inspiration and service, right? So when we can feel less alone, we can heal our fearful perceptions and become a support system to other people seeking solutions, which is what I was doing, right? We are greatly inspired by the desire to serve others. When you can just get out of your own way and just like, what can I do for this person? It truly is its own energy. It truly is the energy of love. Like there is no other way to explain it. We take ourselves out of it for a minute, not to say that we should always do, but like we just hand over and say, hey, I'm of service. How can I be of service today to this person or these people or whatever? Because then, and feel deeply understood what it felt like to be a new spiritual seeker and wanted others to never feel alone. So the sense of belonging was what I had longed for when I started out on my own spiritual path. And I felt like that when I first walked into Turning Point to teach meditation, was like, oh my gosh, I know where these people have been and I can do this. So we just remove all disbelief and stay committed to manifestation by sticking to high vibe thoughts of how this story would help others, right? High vibe thoughts of what we're doing, how it's going to help others. So like with starting a business, right? Or if you have to take a test to this, think about after you get the test, or after you start the business, of like how many people you're going to impact. That's the energy that we want to go into those things with. And so then important to understand, if your desire brings you joy, then it's backed. So if your desire brings you joy, it's automatically backed by inspiration. So if you enjoy doing the thing you're doing, it's backed by inspiration. They're kind of, joy and inspiration are two, whatever, same side, whatever, same coin, whatever that thing is, of like, they kind of go together. And then we have to, or says, when you align your energy with this service and inspiration and joy, you can trust that it will propel your vision forward. Try writing for at least 5 minutes in your journal, and then read over what you wrote. Let yourself feel into the feelings of joy, inspiration, and great contribution, or like making a great impact, right? I like those words: impact, contribution, service. And give yourself permission to celebrate your desires. So even just reading all this and saying all this, right? This is like raising my vibration. It's making me excited to go. I'm super excited about this meeting that we're about to have. Like, it needs to happen. It's going to be amazing. Believing the universe will deliver, right? Believing that the highest good of all is going to happen, and then take action from a place of spiritual alignment, which that is. So if you decide to go into Relaunch Your Soul Academy, or if it's another decision you have to make, as long as you're coming from that place of love and trust and inspiration, joy, and service, it don't matter what decision, it is of the highest good of all. And sometimes it could be leaving something, leaving a job, leaving a relationship, right? Or it could be moving. It could be whatever the scary thing is, just to look at it and say, I trust that whatever I decide to do next is of the highest good of all, and of myself, right? And then have patience. A lot of times we lose patience. Yesterday I read about, it was like asking for a sign of like, okay, please show me a sign that, I am on the right path, or I need to do this thing. Or you will get signs of, you need, like, what I'm getting recently in my relationship is like, one that I've been in before, is I keep being reminded of why I do believe it's time probably to definitely be done with that. And that keeps coming up. The thing that, and when you're in a relationship, a little messy one, toxic, with a lot of toxicity, we put so much love into all that we do, right? Especially when we are light workers, like we put so much love into it, and compassion, and the humanity of the other person. And at some point, when you've been doing this work for a while, it becomes to where spirit definitely reminds you over and over, with a feeling in your body of like, oh, that is not my value. Like, oh, he's saying something that's totally just, it makes my stomach turn. And when that happens, it's been happening a lot lately still. So I'm just like, it's just so out of alignment. And that's how I know. So on both ends, you'll know if it's not for you, you'll know if it is for you. And you just have to have faith. So today, it's about how are you making your decisions, what you decide to do in every single moment too. And you have a choice to either choose in fear, or you choose in love. Remember, it feels constrictive. You're afraid you're going to lose something. I remember when I started to do this method, when I started to pay attention to, am I choosing from fear, or am I choosing from love? And you might not always get it right, whatever, but I'm like, am I choosing this because I'm afraid I'm going to lose something? Or am I afraid I'm going to be alone? Am I fearful of something, of losing, or, something? Or can I just open up and trust and choose to walk away and believe that there's a world of possibility of what could happen? But for me to stand my ground and my values, I didn't know my values as well as I do now. A year ago, I didn't even know my values as much as I do now, of like to the core of my being, what I believe in. I am so so very grounded in what I believe and feel and value in my life now that it is getting almost difficult, and this will happen. It's almost difficult to stay in that type of environment. That's what I am. It's interesting. Like spirit literally like gives you signs when it's like they give you signs all the time, and it's usually in your body. So I know that Janelle and Stacy, I can see you guys up here. Hi Jen, I just saw you popped on. Let me know if you guys want a card. I'm not going to read really far into them because I do have to get off of here. But if I did not send you the PDF and you want it, let me know. Do the practice for today. And just do a mindful, just watching this, being mindful, getting present, taking some breaths. We're not going to have a we're not going to do a meditation or anything today, or let's pull some cards, right? That pulling cards is definitely, yes. Okay. Stacy, card please. Jennifer, Janelle. Okay. Let's go then. So we're going to do Janelle first, then we're going to do Jennifer, then we'll do Stacy. And so these are full, I think it's a full moon today, or it was yesterday, or we're in the full moon energy, one of the two. Here we go. And these are really just going to be about how you can choose from love today, right? I really wanted my goddess, my love goddess ones, but it's okay. They're in my office. So here we go. Okay. Well, Janelle, yours is work through your fears. Okay. That's a pretty clear. Yes. Work through your fears. You see me and your other person today. So if there are any, they're definitely going to be worked through, but let's go ahead and see what your affirmation. So it's new moon in Scorpio, and Scorpio is like a fiery sign, I think, right? It's like I don't know, some action. It says this card suggests a rebirth, right? So think of your situation as the phoenix that's rising from the ashes, as the birth, death, rebirth paradigm. That's what Scorpio energy is all about. And so whatever you've been through, there's a new start ahead. It says this card also suggests that if you know you are magical, then this is the time to work your magic. And you are definitely magical, girlfriend. It can also herald the start of a sexier time. That's also with Scorpio, right? If you've been experiencing something of a drought, and emotional intimacy is also on the menu. Scorpio is the sign that likes to go deep into the body, mind, and spirit. So when this card comes up, there's nothing superficial about what's coming your way. I don't think you'd be superficial if you tried, and I don't think there's been a drought. Okay, right. And so you're attuned to the moon. Have some sexy time, Janelle, this weekend, and time to let go of a grudge, move on from jealousy, stop being obsessive. I don't really think, I can't even see that. And it could be, or it says make an investment. So there we go. That helps with making a decision. Make an investment. Investments can be aligned as well. Janelle's made many spiritually aligned investments. And I actually think Janelle, because you're going to hear from her, I think Wednesday or Thursday night, one of the nights you're going to hear from her next week in the workshop. And I'll probably have her touch on how she made the decision to work with me, right? And to say here, because Janelle was one of my, she's just here, take my money, here you go. And that's how she's always been, because it's energy, right? Money is energy, and she is her relationship with money she has a very good relationship. So that's also something we can work on as well, is if you have a really hard time of something is calling your name, but you're I can't let go of my money. I can definitely help you with that. Not just to work with me, but work with anything. If there's anything you've ever wanted to do and you don't do it because you are worried about money, then I can help you. Trust me. All right. Hi, Shelby. Here, I will pull. Let me know if you want a card. And Jen, I will pull for Jen now if she's still on here. Let's see. Ooh, okay. So Jen, a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. So this is so full moon in Aries. So we're in a full moon. I don't even know what full moon in Aquarius, or what full moon are we in right now? I don't know. So full moon in Aries. for Jen. Fiery climax approaches. Hold on. Where is it at? I do want to give you guys... Okay, so it's time to see if you've been a little too much me. There's a tug of war going on between what you want and what someone else wants, but you'll have to wait a little while to see what's going to happen next. As you wait, ask yourself if you've been handling the situation as sensitively as you could have. If you know deep down that you've been a little rash or harsh, gone too fast or overstepped, then accept that on some level you've created this situation yourself, which means you can create your way out of it too. And that's a great one of like, know that yes, we create our situations, but we also can create solutions, right? So it's like, it's never one and done. I just feel like I need to say that. It's never like, oh my gosh, I've created this mess of a situation or I'm making it worse. You can make it better too. You choose what you want to do. Okay, so be nice, be kind, smile, and be polite as you navigate to where you want to be. Being assertive is good. Just don't ride roughshod over anyone. If you're in a tense situation, meditate your way to peace. That's also another word I really like to use, is like how, and it's in the Gabby Bernstein, I think it's in The Universe Has Your Back, but like peace begins with me. If you use your fingers like that and you could just like, peace begins with me, and breathe. And that can even just be like the mindful practice this morning of like, peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. I've even had Izzy do that at school. I'm like, if you get anxious, just really think of the word, how can I get back to peace and balance in this moment? And you're constantly, that's what you're doing this week, right? Between fear and love. All right, so that was for Jen, and it is a fiery climax approaches. And where are you, where are you kind of creating a tense situation in your life, right? So like shifting it to that. Okay, Stacy, you're next. And I gotta hurry because I have an important meeting I have to be in. So I'm gonna do, I'm sure Darla wants one as well. Stacy. Okay, Stacy, what do you need to release? It is the waning moon. What do you need to release? I think we know that there is some releasing. We have a session this morning, so we'll definitely do that. Some releasing. And so for this, what do you need to release? What is the first thing that comes up when you say, what do I need to release this morning? Or what do I need, like, even if it's something that happened yesterday, maybe it's animosity, maybe it's a grudge, maybe it's a story, right? How are you, how are you thinking of this thing, right? And I'm not saying to like gaslight ourselves. That's what I'm really careful about now that I'm certified, right, as a shadow alchemy coach. I'm like, with the love, with going from fear to love, we don't want to gaslight ourselves. This isn't about gaslighting ourselves. This is about shifting. This is about noticing what we're in. It's about also questioning ourselves of like, is that really true? And like, like that story, that example I shared of a client the other night of like, she had this story of that she's a bad alcoholic and that, her son hates it when everyone hates it when she drinks. When she goes to family things, they're like, don't drink. But as we dissected it, it's like, is that even your story? Because you have your shit together. You are doing amazing in your life. You can drink if you want sometimes, like if you want to enjoy time with a friend, enjoy time with a friend. And so we dissected that. So it's just like a lot of our beliefs don't come from ourselves. It comes from people we've grown up in, our family and society and religion, right? We just have to say like, whose thought is this anyway? Whose story is this anyway? Is it even mine? Now, if it is, that's when we can go deeper and do the shadow work, right? That it was created in childhood because of observation, or there's 3 ways that we're conditioned, and you guys will learn about that next week. Or I'm going to talk more about conditioning. And it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, 7:00 Zoom call. That's what we're going to be doing next week. So what do you need to release, Stacy? I want to find it for you here. And you can, here we go. So points to what's falling away. This card does, goes in cycles. Sometimes we need downtime to let go, no matter when in the moon cycle, you pull it, it's a sign that a situation has peaked for better or worse, and it's time for you to go easier. It's the autumn and winter of the cycle. So what do you need to release? Almost certainly something from the situation that is on your mind. This card can be very positive, but can still be gently suggesting that you let something go and stop trying so hard. I can just like feel that for me, because that is what's like trying so hard to make something be something. And if it's not, and that's where stress comes from, right? When something does not look how we want it, that's where our stress comes from. Every time. That's always where stress comes from. That's where my stress came from this week, because it definitely was not how I wanted or how I thought, right? And so I've had to really work through my fear and love this week of like, okay, you know what? I'm going to allow things to be. Doesn't mean I have to accept them, right? But I know I have to focus on what I can control, right? And so the tune to the moon, it's safe to let go and move on, whatever that means, right? It doesn't always mean move on from a relationship. It just could mean to move on from whatever has been, we've been trying to control. Move forward with as little resistance as possible. This is not the time to start new projects. And I think that's so important, that if you are very stressed, you're very trying to do a lot of different things during a stressful time, stop doing that. Or if you have a family situation come up, and if you have, let's just say, bed bugs in your house or lice or something that you're like, you can't focus on anything else. Of course you can't, because your focus has to be on that, right? So just be graceful with yourself. Releasing emotional baggage is recommended. Say sorry to someone and do energetic work as meditation. Soon you will see what lies ahead. Okay? Beautiful. All right. Let me see who else wanted a card, and then I have to jump off. And if I didn't get to, hold on. Let's see. Thank you. Okay, Darla. Okay, Shelby, and then Darla. Okay, let's do Shelby. I don't know if she's still on here or not, but I'll go ahead and pull one for her, and then I have to go, you guys. Okay, Shelby, you're very close to achieving your goal. It's the gibbous moon. I will send it to her if she's not on here anymore. That's fine. Let me see if, let me go ahead and see if I can find it in here. Mutable moon, fixed moon, waning, waxing. It's probably right here somewhere. Mutable moon, super moon. All the moons, but not the gibbous moon. I think that's in the front. Yeah, that's probably in the front. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So the gibbous means bulging. It says, what a descriptive word. So pulling this card means that the situation you're thinking a lot about is bulging and possibly coming to a peak. And this isn't an ending card with a neat yes or no answer. Rather, you're being reminded that some adjustments may yet be required before you get what you want, though you're certainly on the right track. So it means there's one false move and the whole thing could blow. That's not to scare you. It's just to let you know there's a fuse attached to the situation. So be careful if you choose to light it. I do know there is a situation that's happening for Shelby. I don't know if she's still on here. And I think that this is that's coming up. And the attuned to the moon is saying, I know that I'm on the right track. That's such a beautiful, just an affirmation today. I know I am on the right track. We are all on the right track. So yeah, there you go. That is your attuned to the moon. Okay. And then Darla, let's do Darla. And then we will get off of here. Darla. Ooh, expect powerful change. New moon eclipse. That's like a super powerful card. That is for sure. Oh my goodness. We all know how that is like the most powerful card. New moon eclipse is, it's an eclipse, right? So what the eclipse is that happens not very often. I know you've been working on your vision. And you're making it happen. So I think that's something to consider or acknowledge, Darla, is that, or Darla's a great example of making things happen. Like, and I mean, I'm not to say we need to like always make things happen, but to really like make the connections and talk with people and to work on the thing you really want. Like, she's wanted it so bad. And now, and I know there's been other times where, you know, we've gotten to this point and then something has happened, right? But I think that this time, it's just, I think that that's a great example of, or she is, of what she, and I would love for her to come on and talk as well about her experiences in her life, in my world, and in her world. Not just my world, but her world. Why can't I find this new moon eclipse? Anyway, I want to tell you your affirmation, if anything, is what I really want to do. But if anything, it's about making, you know, not sitting back and just like, oh, I want this to happen, right? And then do nothing, but to do something, right? And to use your own energy to create that. This is weird that I cannot find this new moon eclipse. Where is it? North Node. Hold on. Let me just, new moon eclipse. I bet it's in this one right here. I really want to find it, but anyway, I guess I can't find it. Moon and Pisces. Yeah, I don't know. I'll find it when I get off of here, but it's just not, it's not coming up for me here. That's weird. I have the new moon, which is, well, the new moon isn't it though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where this is at, so I'll find it for you later. I promise I will send it to you. Okay, I love you guys. There's your card, Darla. New moon eclipse. Expect powerful change. That will be your mantra today. Expect powerful change. How can I lean into love? Lean into love. Open up. Allow the flow. That's really what that is. So, okay, you guys, I love you. Have a great day. Today, be mindful of your decisions, how you're making them, if you're making them, because remember, if you don't make a decision, that's still not making a decision is also in your decision-making practice. And as a coach, that's something that I lean a lot into, helping people make decisions so we can move forward, right? So, if you are interested to learn more about Relaunch Your Soul Academy, just type interested in the bottom. We're going to be starting, next week we have the workshop. It's a free workshop. It's Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. So it'd be February 18th, 19th, 20th. And we're going to be meeting at 7 o'clock on Zoom for 60 minutes every night. And you're going to be learning about somatic shadow work and how to really start to find your shadows and work with them in your life, in your day, to take the fear away from the shadow work or the darkness of it, right? And kind of, in order for you to step further into your gifts. So, all right, you guys, have a great Friday. Bye.